Live in five, four, three. We're already live. Already live. Already live. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to High Frequency Living Show every Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We starting a little early so that I can be sure that I know how to work a computer, a camera, and a microphone all at the same time. It's been a struggle for me. It's been a struggle. However, I'm learning. And now, you know, I think this is the one. I think this is the week that everything comes together. All three devices comes together and and works. These classes are not because I'm good with tech. Trust me. All right. Thank you for being part of this conversation, Mom.
Yes.
She's been sticking it through. She carried the torch last week while we were figuring out while I was in Florida. Now I'm back, and we feel pretty good. We're even matching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this. Alrighty, let's see here. So, um, while we, oh, I'll give you a moment. We are while we get set up and to go into our topic for high frequency living. I'm wondering if you would mind sharing with me. You just finished up, wrapped up a class this past Tuesday. What class was that?
The sun calibration.
Sun calibration class. And that class is one of your foundational classes to, as a prerequisite to lead into quantum light property clearing.
Yes.
Right. Yeah.
And also, it's an introduction to a way of thinking that humanity doesn't have. We don't know that we're capable of many things, and this helps us segue into that. And it's absolutely necessary. All of the classes require this. We have to know who we are to take the more advanced classes with Of the Sun. So this is an introduction. It's not actually even taught the same way in property clearing, but this way people are comfortable with the idea. It's not shocking to them that they can know things and verify it and prove it. And that's necessary when you move into the real modality of clearing a property.
Mm-hmm.
That you can truly identify and know and verify through your own understandings and with others what is accurate and what is not. And people don't know that. So it's really a baby step, but it's an introduction that allows for property clearing to take you to a much greater level of calibrating. We're just
Yeah.
doing the introduction of yes and no's in
Mm-hmm.
that class.
So when I'm in consults, what I share with people is that, and I hope I'm saying the right thing, but I share with people that listen, the calibration class is one of the uh, initial prerequisites because it's a muscle that has to be built, and by the
Absolutely.
time you get to the quantum light property clearing class, it is ideal if you have come into that class with certain foundational skill
Yes.
sets that you have practiced and honed a little bit so that you can spend your time in the class learning how to clear properties, not learning how to discover if you are getting the right answers or not, or
Absolutely.
if your ego is getting in the way, or if your doubts getting in the way, or
Right.
if your desires getting in the way. And I always use the example that years ago when I went to Chicago for a weekend Akashic Records class, what it was like an intensive class all day for 3 straight days. I left from Florida to go to Chicago to do this. And although I was fully submerged in the class, engaged, trying my best, after the class, what I ran into was that I when it was time for me to practice on my own, I kept getting discouraged. And the reason why I kept getting discouraged is because I was fighting this question of, well, I was fighting doubt. I was wondering, am I just thinking this or making up these answers? Or is my ego telling me this? Or
Right.
all of these different factors that come in, or the things that I already believe, my
Right.
preconceived beliefs about things telling me these answers, or is it the actual Akashic records? And so much so, I've, over the course of all this time, I've picked up the work, put it back down, picked it up, put it back down. And even directly after that class, let's say the following 3 months, 6 months, I continuously was picking up the work and putting it back down because of that specific thing
Right.
of not knowing that I know.
Right. And that is really the condition humanity is in. And we've been put there on purpose and by design. And so it does require what you said. It requires first that you decide that you will do it, and then you know that you can do it. And then you prove to yourself through doing it
Right.
that you can do it. So we recommend 20 questions a day. I notice that when people don't do the 20 questions a day, they don't get it.
Yeah.
If they don't apply it, it is not where you take the class and the top of your head opens and we pour it in, and now magically
Yup.
you are different. And we have to program the subconscious mind with new programming. So we think that it has to be proven by scientific journals. There must be a white paper. The scientists have to agree. And we haven't heard them say that we can know anything.
Right.
So we have to dismantle all of that programming. Then we have to reprogram our subconscious mind that we are the truth, that we can be the truth. We can pull the truth from us through our discipline
Mhm.
and our practice.
Yeah.
And what happens is that so many people say, I went to a weekend class, now I'm a master.
Right. Oh my God.
So because so many people, we are expecting, like, I took 3
Okay.
days.
This is gonna apply to somebody who's about to hear me say this out of your mouth, but out of my mouth. However, if everybody's a Reiki master, is there even a master? Like, is there a such thing? If it's so easy to become a master of something, it's so loosely used. I feel like that.
Mhm. And the idea is that we all have seen kung fu movies. We all know that if you want a black belt, you have to get a yellow belt, and you have to get a white belt, and you
Yeah.
have to get a brown belt. And we all know that, but we want to think that it's a fast food stop, and they just put the hamburger and the french fries out the window and you just take it and go.
Yeah. Put a little evolution, a little elevation out the window.
Yeah,
That'll be 150 for this weekend course.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
And just drive through, and we're in the introduction to calibration is only an hour and a half for 3 days. It is enough for the person who has decided that they will know, and they'll work with their subconscious mind, because what you were talking about is your subconscious mind.
Yeah.
And you cannot do you can't quit smoking, you can't eat right, you can't do anything until you address the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is the mind that's really the driving force behind all of your bias, all of your prejudice, all
Yeah.
of the things that you think are lies, all of the things that you think are true. But it is programmed already, so it's true, it's programmable. But it requires you to dedicate yourself to it, even in the face of it looking like it didn't work. In the last class, I said to people, when they don't teach it anymore in school, they don't teach cursive writing, but they still do teach printing, I think. But I remember being in school learning to print, and I didn't know how to do it after the first week.
Wait a second. So they don't teach cursive writing anymore?
Yeah, they don't.
So cursive is just like going away?
Yeah, because we got computer. Yeah.
Ah, interesting.
But I have a
never
cursive
knew that.
typewriter.
Really?
Yeah. So, but I mean, it's an old-fashioned idea. But the point is that whether you were learning to print or learning, that you had to keep doing it, and it took maybe 6 months to learn how to do
I
that.
vaguely remember. It's been a long time since I've been. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I vaguely
But
remember that. Yeah.
that's programming symbols into the subconscious mind through the physical effort, and that it takes time. It doesn't take time just because you're a child. It takes time to put the program in.
Yeah.
And so this is the sun calibration is installing the program first that you can know, which is the biggest program to install.
Gotcha.
And then watching somebody who does know that they know that they know, and then can prove it. And then the person adhering enough to like, oh, I can also do that. So it's another whole level by the time they get to property clearing. By the time they get to property clearing, they're learning to calibrate to decimal points. We are just the introduction of, let's get with the idea so that when you get into property clearing, when you're introduced to other ideas that you may not have heard before,
Yeah.
you don't have to consider this one. You've got this one in your
That's
back pocket.
it's so needed because I mean for so many I could spend all day talking about get like Tavares actually said in the chat, we want to give people set them up for success
Yes.
so that they don't have to do remedial learning. Like when you get into the quantum light property clearing class, and this actually applies to all the classes at different octaves and degrees. However, it's so important to be able to fully be present and receiving what's being
Yes.
stated at the time that the teachers are stating it, rather than being stuck on something that was said 30 minutes ago because in your mind it's incongruent, or in your mind you still haven't swallowed that or accepted it, or you're still figuring out if you believe it or not. It's so many different factors. And this is why, one, we put out so much content, and two, we do so many different forms of classes and learning because we think that if you become familiar with the language, you become familiar with the philosophies and the concepts in which of the sun kind of approaches things with, it'll allow you to smoothly transition into other more intensive learning settings because you will have already had a foundation. You won't come into it never having seen my mom or Tavares or any of the other teachers and never having heard the rhythm of what they're speaking and the language they're speaking. So you can come into it with a openness and a acceptance already. At least some of the barriers are broken down. There still will be stretching that's needed. You will still always have to stretch to receive something a little further than what you might have came into the class already accepting. However, we
Yes.
want to alleviate a lot of the barriers. It's just like clearing a path for success. We do that even in our systems for Of the Sun and working with Of the Suns. We want to clear a path for success for the people working with us. Speaking of the chat, I share what Tavares said. Essential Tribe said, "It is a great class. Get your answers. The universe wants you to know the truth." Thank you for that.
Yes.
That what do you call it? Testimony or
Yeah.
I'm gonna need you to send out a tweet of that, and then we can screenshot it and post it on our socials or something. Yana said, "Greetings. I look forward to taking a class one day." I'm glad you said that, Yana, because guess what? I'm gonna say this later too. However, we are doing a giveaway for a scholarship to one of our classes that are happening in August. We have two classes that are happening in August, which are kind of special classes because they are not only are you learning something, but you're actually going to receive a healing as a part of that class package. So that's through the DNA activation and the One Mind Connection class, which we're running both of those in August. So to be eligible to receive a scholarship, we ask that anybody who's interested at least go to our website, go to our scholarship page, submit a $25 minimum donation, and your name will be pulled. We'll pull one name a month that out of the people who have donated in the scholarship fund. We'll actually announce it next Saturday on the live stream who won the scholarship for August's classes, and you'll be able to pick a class that you can join. However, if you'd like to take a class, that's your opportunity. A lot of people have contributed and paid it forward to potentially allow someone like you, Yana, or anyone else who's hearing this to be able to participate. And we hope that you do the same because the next person will be able to receive something from everyone's donations and contributions to the scholarship fund.
I'd like to share something about the classes. It's both classes and the classes, the Akasha class that just finished and the Sun Calibration class are cutting edge. So we are familiar in our lexicon in the world currently with things that are slightly adjacent to what we're doing, but we've gone further. So because we've gone further, secure yourself. The one mind connection is we live in a world of separation. Every single thing that we touch, everything we do is about separation. we don't really think about the fact that we only have two strands of DNA, which our scientists verify, and that they can verify that we did have 12.
Mm-hmm.
So the DNA reconnection and the idea of one mind are necessary components so that you can be really successful in the advanced classes. That people ask us all the time, how can you clear a house in Zimbabwe and
Right,
not be there?
exactly.
People say, are you coming to my house? I'm like, no, you live in New Jersey. I'm in Georgia, and I'm not coming to your house.
You're not doing that Frontier Pass, that year pass. Yo, check it out, man. Year pass, $6.99, something like that. I don't know, but
No, I'm not doing that, and I'm not using Sage. And the reason we can do that is sun calibration, one mind, and DNA reconnection.
Right.
These prerequisites arm you and give you the tools and the skill set and the mental clarity that lets you know that you're more than you think you are. You know more, you have more power, and you're able to affect more than you think you can. You can affect the physical material in the third dimension, but you have to know that you can.
Yep.
You can't do it thinking, I don't know anything, I can't do anything, I'm afraid of everything. I don't know. That doesn't clear abuse out of a property. That doesn't clear divorce energy. That doesn't clear anger.
Yep.
You have to have clarity to gain the power so you can direct it. So when people ask me, it's not easy for us to share with them, but these steps are very important. And when people haven't paid attention, when they've had those steps, then they need remedial training, which many people take the property clearing class over and over because we're also always expanding.
You need to take. So this isn't even the topic over here. We're just chatting right now. Give us a second. We'll get to what we're actually here to talk about. However, on that note, I've been sharing with people this. Number one, pick your class for the month. Find a class that works schedule-wise for you, that you can engage with as intensely as your schedule allows. And we always set you up with a good system so you can visit the recordings. You have a Google Drive that has class materials, recordings, all that, so you can study on your own. However, along with that, you pick your live class. What you can do is, especially for the people who have a passion for learning and the people who have a real thirst and hunger for this field of work, you can get a recording of a prior class that we've done, and you can get it at a very discounted rate from the normal price of the class. So as an example, the calibration class that just passed, the live class was $300 for the month, which is very reasonable. However, you can now, that class is available that you can go get the recording and you can listen to the recording. Yes, you will not have the opportunity to have the live exchange with the teacher that some of the students that were in the live class did, but you can start to hone your skills. You can start to work on your own timing with no pressure of the group keeping up with the group, no pressure of the teachers ask you, did you do it over there and this and that. So you can have your version of your own studying. And we encourage, do what you can do what you want to do what you're inspired to do. And we try to make quite a few different levels of learning available. So if anybody's interested in even getting a smaller package or a smaller cost package of a pre-recorded class, reach out, contact at ofthesun.com. You can email, you can call 203-308-6832. And I will make sure you're set up with getting a recording of the class that you can take on your own time with no pressure of any time constraints or anything like that. You can spend, it's literally a 4 to 5 hour class total. And you can spend the whole month taking it because it's pre-recorded. So you can do it at your own pace. Last few things I want to say is that Gina is in the chat. Gina said, I'm about to move and I'm looking forward to taking classes also. I have been telling my daughter who lives with me about you and what type of things you're teaching. Thanks, with hearts and smileys.
Yay.
Thank you so much. Madame, I know that name now. Madame Mystique Noir, something along those lines.
That's it.
Y'all are so generous. What a wonderful opportunity. Thank you so much for that support. Wandering said, I just saw that pass too, talking about the Frontier. He said, it's a good deal. I can't see your Abby. I'm assuming that's a man. So What's up? Stacy, appreciate Stacy's been in the scholarship fund, paying it forward. We're grateful for your contributions, Stacy. Um, Hopefully you are a part of the classes, or maybe you've supported someone else becoming a part of the class. We'll see. Let's see here. Okay, so we're going to transition into our actual topic of our discussion today, or a few things I want to ask about. But before we do, I do want to make sure it's known and clear, which you all have heard me say before. We are honored and grateful to be sponsored by Inlakesh Studio One. So, high frequency living is a concept that we're focused on every aspect of life, and we feel like if we can raise the vibration, raise the frequency, raise the baseline energy of all of our different experiences, so whether it be our relationships, whether it be our work life, whether it be our food, whether it be our clothing, our shelter, where we live, and everything else that we encounter in life, that we can elevate it, we can raise the frequency. So we, in these discussions, we like to discuss all of the different aspects of real life and how to approach them and look at them in a higher frequency. Inlakesh Studio One is a business that is based upon, number one, quantum light property clearing, which raises and clears away all of the encumbrances that are going on in your places and spaces. So Inlakesh Studio One has literally been honing this skill set with Of the Sun for years and years, working towards clearing properties and becoming great at it. Inlakesh Studio One also offers Call for the Truth card pools. So these card pools are a 1 card, 3 card, or 9 card spread where you can get the insight you need in the divination format from your reader. Now, just like Of the Sun, Inlakesh Studio One also pays it forward. So once a month, they do a free, Inlakesh Studio One does a free card reading, a virtual free card reading. So if you go to www.inlakeshstudio1.com, you'll see where you can sign up for the free virtual card reading, and you'll see where you can support Inlakesh Studio One by signing up for a card reading that's personal to you as well, along with quite a few other offerings as well. There's a free book club that's going on and quite a few other things. So I highly encourage Inlakesh Studio One to I encourage everyone to work with Inlakesh Studio One, and I will in the description of this video have the website Inlakesh Studio One as well available. So anybody who wants to reference that, feel free. Thank you again, Inlakesh Studio One.
Yes, thank you, Inlakesh Studio One, for the
So
support.
yes, so the common theme of our high frequency living conversations are based on navigating relationships. Now, which relationship, how to navigate them, and what's going on, we will take that journey depending on what's relevant in our lives currently. So I have two main areas of discussion I want to have. I'd like to, and they do relate, I'd like to share an experience that I had yesterday, and then I'd like to get your broader view on the divine masculine and what it looks like for someone to live in and embody what the divine masculine is from your perspective. But first, I'd like to share an experience. I hope you all follow me on this. I hope I don't lose anybody with the boredom because of my own personal story. However, I think it relates, and this is what I want to explore. So yesterday evening, I called to FaceTime my daughter, Elysian, your granddaughter, little rascal. She's 7. So we get on FaceTime, and she had just got out the shower. So she's like drying off, getting her pajamas on. And I share with her while we're talking, I said, make sure you put some oil on, because she has, since she was a baby, dealt with eczema, and she's come a long way in being healed. However, it takes consistent diligence and vigilance to make sure that her skin is where it needs to be and being nutrients and all that, especially when we are navigating or balancing the diet that she's having when she's not with us, when she's not here with with me. So we have to kind of balance that with what she puts on her body. So I shared with her. I said put some lotion on.
Excuse me.
Bless you. Yeah. I said, put some lotion on or some oil on your face and the crux of your arms where she has little flare ups sometimes and all that. And she says to me, my mom doesn't make me do that when I get out the shower. I said, Lacey, I said, this is, I said, we've been doing this since you was a baby. I said, when you get out the bath, your skin gets dried out from the water. So you want to put the lotion on. She's like, but my mom doesn't make me do that, whatever. So I'm like, so I try to pull rank. I'm like, Elysian, go get some oil on and put on. She says back to me, now normally for 7 years, that has worked. That last Elysian, go do what I said you do, has worked. This time, for the first time, she says to me, I don't got to do what you said. My mom doesn't make me do it, and you're not here. So, of course, that felt like a gut punch, but I just played it cool. So I said, Elysian, you know why you need to do it. And I'm, being calm. I'm like, you know why you need to do this. You've been doing this your whole life. You need to. And she kept that same tone and was like, nah, I'm not going to do it, very nonchalantly in response to me. And I was extremely bothered by that. So I told her, I said, Elysian, that's not how you talk to me. I said, why are you talking to me like this? Why are you behaving like this? This is not who you are. And she's just shrugging off what I was saying, kind of just messing around, getting dressed. So I said, all right, Lise. I said, I don't like the way you're talking or whatever. I'm going to hang up. I'll talk to you tomorrow because I don't appreciate how you're talking to me. And I don't like this tone between us. Now, mind you, she's 7 years old. Mind you, me and her live in different states. I miss them deeply and regularly. I spend a lot of time going back and forth from Florida to Georgia. As you all know, you've seen me back and forth through these podcasts. And so much do I not want to pass up on any moments on the phone with her. So often do I not want to, I want to take advantage of all of what's going on. Me and their mother is in a custody kind of court situation right now, working to make sure that there's balance, appropriate respect and balance for both parties, both parents involved. All that being said, it's very hard for me to do the one form of punishment that I'm able to do, which is really me standing up for my own peace or self, or doing what I'm supposed to do for me. But what it takes is for me to tell her, even at 7 years old, which I know she's intelligent enough to understand, that I can't have this kind of experience with you. So I'm going to remove myself from the conversation. We'll try again tomorrow. That's what I decided to do. So we got off the phone, told her I love her, gave her a kiss, and we got off the phone. After thinking about it and going through it a while, I actually felt more and more sure that I did the thing that I wanted to do. That although it was distasteful in that moment, that I did what I wanted to do, and I'm fine with what I did. That experience was kind of like it was a little shaken because I never experienced that with her right now. This is the first stage of that. But two, because this concept that's been going on about the masculine and the way that we operate and all that, I noticed that I was expressing to her something that was about how she made me feel or how I felt through this conversation. And I was noticing how, wow, this actually isn't that hard for me to just genuinely express, like, I don't feel good with this exchange. So I'm going to just move differently, not me get upset and become distant, or not me store or raise my voice or be any kind of way, or not me even, which I'm not going to lie, a little voice came to my mind, tell her, get your mother on the phone and let me get on her about why you're talking to me like this. I will admit that thought came in my mind, and I actually, I don't know, I can't even, I can see why I would have done that before. However, I can also see how ridiculous that is to do. So either way, all of these different things are playing on my mind. I've been thinking about it for the last 24 hours, and it kind of carries into the idea to me of what it looks like to be the divine masculine and how it looks to interact with the feminine as well. So if you could talk a little bit about that specific experience, but then bigger picture, some examples of what, as the feminine, what you all look for or would like to experience from the masculine in a pure way, not in a controlling way, not, what you personally want to experience only, but what it looks like in your lives to experience the divine masculine. You get the two parts of that question?
Well, I'd like to address the first part. Maybe you'll remind me about the second
Yes.
part. So, when this is what I have learned, this is not saying this is the only way. What I have learned is that whether you're talking to a 7-year-old, a 2-year-old, or a 25-year-old, or a 50-year-old, that you need to speak to what's important to them if you want to have the best results. And often, how you feel is not the most important thing to them.
Mm-hmm.
And the child has very little context. She's just trying to figure out what boundaries can she grow beyond. Like, can I do what I do with mommy with daddy?
Mm-hmm.
I tell her no. I'm gonna tell her and see how it works with daddy. What I would have said to her would have been, Elysian, do you remember when I used to give you a bath and rub you down with oil and how nice you felt? Do you remember why? Would you tell me why did I rub you down? Because you were itchy? Because you didn't feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And now you're a big girl and you can do it yourself? You choose not to. Now you know if you do get itchy at night, you know what to do.
Mm-hmm.
It's the best time is when you get out of the bath. So I would have positioned it more on what's important to her. Does she want to be itchy? Does she remember all the times when if I had been talking, when I put her in the bath and sponged her down and put her in a towel and carried her to the bed and rubbed her down and she felt that she could go to sleep, I would have reminded her of how lovely that felt. Who doesn't want somebody to give them a bath, rub them down, and carry them to bed? It's a wonderful memory, and it would have been in her mind, even though she's at this learning stage where she's learning to do things with adults and seeing where her power is.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of challenging her power, go back to, it's the same thing when children don't want to eat. Do you remember when you ate that so-and-so and so-and-so and you loved it and it tastes so good and you said, oh, I want it again? That's how I would talk to children, but that's also how I talk to adults. And like, do you remember? We have to remember that our feelings are not another person's priority, especially children who don't have the reference.
Mm-hmm.
That we often get offended and upset about what children say when they have no reference. The reason that children run and say, Daddy, Daddy's home, is because the mother teaches them that, not because they know that.
Right. Yeah.
The dog does that on his own. The children have to be taught. Otherwise, they'll just keep watching television or keep eating and wait till you get in the kitchen. If they, in general, it's like the mother encourages the children. It's a gift from the mother. It's a gift from the mother of the children. Daddy's here. Go give him a hug. Say hi to daddy. That's taught.
Mm-hmm.
People often misunderstand and think that that's owed to them. That's a gift.
Mm-hmm.
People who haven't taught their children that, their fathers have been coming home for 20 years and they've never said anything. They like, oh, he's here. So part of what's going on is that we have this expectation that what we would like to see and hear from the children, that they already understand and know. So what you do is you speak directly to their own experience. Like, do you remember how good it felt to be rubbed down and not be itchy? Do you remember what it felt like to get out of a warm bath and have the oil on you and then you could go to sleep? And then the child remembers, and then it's not a fist fight. It's like, well, you're 7 now. If you get itchy, you know to put the oil on. It's always best though when you get out of and then it collapses the interference pattern.
Okay.
That's not to say that you were wrong. I'm not saying you were wrong. It's a different approach. I've had 4 children, 9 grandchildren. I've learned a few things,
Uh-huh.
So I would, and it doesn't mean every child will respond properly, but the idea that she has the bandwidth to understand what you are giving her is what I see many parents do, and the child really doesn't connect or care.
Well, that's where I'm kind of
They connect
rotating
to their
on
own
is
experience. So you bring everything back to I don't want to eat this. Well, do you remember when you ate it before and you liked it? Give them back their own experience instead of giving them, I paid all the money for this food and you're going to eat it. And,
right.
Instead of giving them your emotional, remember you're speaking to someone who, you're not grown to your 50. This is a fraction still. This is
I
not
was
somebody
talking
who,
to someone
yeah.
yesterday, and she was like, she was saying something about being old, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm 44 now, and such and such." And she was like, "I know if I talk to your mom, she's gonna say I'm not. I'm still a baby. I'm not even grown yet." She was like, "But I sure feel old at 44."
And she still got more milk on her top lip. You have pablum dripping down her head.
That's so funny. You're starting to get known for that you're not grown till you're in your 50s yet.
Well, the reality is when you have established yourself with enough clarity, when you recognize that this is you, this child is an aspect of you, and just how smart you are,
Yeah.
they're really smart too. So she's really trying to figure out her boundaries. And I'm not saying that it wasn't a good idea to get off the phone. It depends. It's all a matter of the offense, how far you take it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I think that's interesting because and first I can see that leading with the inspiration for, like you said, recalling those warm times, recalling that the times and the memories that will encourage her to do what I'm asking her to do, rather than just to get her to do what I'm asking her to do, or make her do what I'm asking her to do over a phone from another state, which I can't make her do. So, to utilizing that strategy when the conversation was about oiling, and after, like, there was a period of time where the conversation was about putting oil on, but eventually the conversation no longer became about putting
Yeah.
oil on, and became about her, how she was talking with me. And when you talk about the intelligence and things like that, you've said this to me, and I feel it truly and deeply because I now experience this with her. I know what she thinks. I know how smart she is, and I know exactly who
Right.
she is. Like, I know, even when someone else would give her the benefit of doubt of not knowing something, I know that she knows.
Right.
I know her intent behind little things she does. Like literally, because she is, what do you say, she's our DNA. She is me. She is same as I am you. That I just know there's certain things. I shared this before, but when she was born, I looked at her the moment, the first. I mean, so funny little story. Didn't find out the gender until she was born. So literally in the hospital on the hospital bed, and I'm sitting here like this, just waiting for her to come out. And the first push, her head popped out. And of course, a baby head, you can't tell the gender. So I'm still like, all right, come on. I need to see. The next skirt, her body came out. I saw it was a girl. I'm like, oh my God, it's a girl. It was very exhilarating and all that. But the moment I actually looked at her and like grabbed her and held her, it truly felt like I've already known her for forever. Like this is someone who, it took no time for me to connect with it. I literally had no words to explain the connection, but I knew her, and I know her to this day. All that being said is that once we got to a different point in that conversation where it was now about her and I both know what she's doing and what's going on, and that she knows better than what she's doing, then how to navigate that. And one of the most unfortunately triggering parts about it was that what she was doing, I saw her mother in her. She to me, I was immediately stopped seeing her and started seeing her mother through her,
Right.
through what she was doing. So like,
So you acted like you would have acted with the mother. You get off the phone.
well, I tried to act differently in the sense that, like,
Did you act like you would have acted with the mother and go,
you mean
I don't like
currently or the past me? Because the past me would have tried to
no.
engage it.
Did you yesterday
Mhm.
think, oh my goodness, I don't like the way you're talking to him, make it off the phone? Would you have done that with her mother?
Not if I was in a relationship with her, no.
Did I say relationship with her? Would you have? This is such a hard question for you because you have all these caveats.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're saying you saw your ex in the child, and then I'm saying you acted like you would with the ex.
Ah, okay.
And you're saying, well, there's caveats. So do you mean now? Do you mean later? If I was in a relationship? If I
Yeah.
was...
Yeah, well, I think like this. This is how I think about it. If with energy going in, so if I'm putting energy into trying to get her to do something, like put oil on, then that investment of energy is because I'm engaged. I care about her. I'm gonna talk to her. So then so I at that point, I'm either going to see through what I'm doing, or I wanted to, like I said, I wanted to call her mother and say, we make her put oil on like that. But
that's
Yeah.
I think a knee jerk. I think a kind of a knee jerk
Mhm.
reaction on the side of being as gentle as you thought you could think you were being.
Mhm.
What I see is that the child played you. She said, and I know who she is too. She lived with me.
Right.
She said, my mommy doesn't make me do it, daddy. She was playing you then. And I would have not moved into that space at all. I would have moved directly to her.
Mm.
Like, we're not, and you didn't talk to her about her mother, but I would have moved directly. I would have had the conversation. You remember, don't you?
See? Yeah. So
You
to what
remember.
degree
So
do we still just keep trying to get her to do it rather than
you don't. You can't make her do it.
right?
She's somewhere else.
Exactly.
You can do that when the child is 2.
Right. Exactly.
When they're 2, you can yell across the room, or you can get up and move their hands off whatever they're about to break.
Exactly.
So you do that when they're 2, 3, 4, 5. When they get to 6 and 7, they got some of this down already, and they know that there's a issue in the relationship. So she's testing her intelligent boundaries. Like,
Mhm.
if I say mom won't make me do it, and if I tell you my brain lets me know that you can't make me do it because you're not here,
Right.
then that changes the dynamic. Now
So-
you're addressing her from another point of view. She's not 2, and you can't say,
Mhm.
move your hand while you're on FaceTime.
Yeah. So to what
and then she'll do it. You got to get up and go do it,
So how much, to what end do you see keep trying to get her to do it? So like I said, in the early stages, just encouraging and hey, this is why and all that. And then as it gets to no longer, like I said, being about oil and more about, well, I'm just not interested in doing this and I don't have to what degree do you still keep trying to encourage them to do it, or do you do something different?
Do you remember what I used to do when you wouldn't eat your food?
I have if you're referencing saying it, okay, it's fine, it could be there. Yeah.
You have to leave the table.
Okay.
The food will be here.
So in
there's an
reference
honoring of
Yeah.
they're at the age where you can't stop them. They're not enslaved. You can't stop them from making decisions. You could create circumstances. So her body, if she breaks out or if she gets dehydrated, is going to hurt.
Yeah.
She knows what to do. She's choosing to not do it at the time you say, but the reason why you told her that was to make sure that she knew to do it and that she would do it. That was accomplished. You didn't have to make her do it
Yeah.
because you're the daddy and you said so. And so there's a difference. It's like I could have, when you would sit at the table and say, well, I don't want that. I'm like, fine, you may be excused from the table. You may not sit here anymore, but the food will still be here. You may not want it, but I think your body's going to want it later.
Eventually, right. Exactly.
That's what I would say to you.
So,
and so what I wasn't like, I'm going to, force this food down your throat, or you're going to be punished, or I'm going to spank you if you don't eat it. That creates allergies and mental complexes. Exactly. So we honor the fact that this is another human being that it lives in a free choice universe and has to learn the confines of what is appropriate. Now, not all behavior gets that response. A child bite me or something like that. That's a whole nother response.
Okay, so I'm clear though. After she plants her flag in the ground and says, "I'm not trying to do this,"
and then you say, "Well, if now you know what to do. If you're
right, exactly. So I get to leave the situation.
You get to leave because you can't do because you can't do anything else anyway.
Exactly.
So you should leave gracefully because you're in another state, and you're not going to be able to put lotion on her, and she's big enough to understand what to do. The thing I might have checked is like, do you have it nearby? Do you know where it is? Mm-hmm. And I would have left it at that and continued to talk to her. That's what I would have done if that's what you're asking me.
Honor love people is that. Okay, let me say, Tavares said, honoring the free will of little people is a heck of a test towards our elevation. Yes, sir. Kay and Lakesh and Veritas all. Yes. Stacy, free will, all we can do is just help them remember. Yes, that's it. That's exactly what I understand my mom to be stating, is that, encourage, inspire.
And if you're there, you can do more. But you're not there.
Right, exactly.
So how do you not, you're tossing and turning overnight. You're having the first fight with your 7-year-old, daughter. But it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be where now that small thing that is really about her feeling good. I would just have made sure that she knew where it was or could have it. Or I'd asked her mother, because it's my formula. Has she made it? Is it available? Or is there something else available? She doesn't need it right now. I just want to know if it's in the house. Or do I need to mail some? I would have done that.
Okay. This actually reminds me of something you've said a lot about clients and just experiences you've had with consulting with people. You said that there's a question that you would ask them and say, is there anything that you want that does not include making someone else do something that they don't want to do?
Right.
And if there is, let's invest a large portion of our energy into the thing that you want that does not include making someone else do something that they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And that reminds me of that, because although I have this impression that as her parent, it is my right to want the best from her, and having been the person who cared for her so intensely and understand her so deeply, that because I know best, then what I want, regardless of it being something that she doesn't want or not, that is the priority. So what that reminds me of is that, just like us in our grown relationships with our friends and our parents and our, loved ones and etc., whatever other forms of relationships we have, even coworkers, that the amount of energy we spend about and on getting someone else to do what we want them to do, when all of the evidence shows that they don't want to do it, it's astounding how much energy we spend on it. And it's funny because we always end up, we get offended that they rejected us making them do something. So we then put ourselves, so then we have to spend the time circling and sitting on and simmering in and stewing on how wrong they are for being mad at us, for us trying to enforce them to do something.
Let me give you another side to the equation. The other side to the equation is then that person, let's take Elysion, your child, grows up thinking that she was just born to do what pleases you. What I got to do what pleases you. I was born to just, am I doing enough to please you yet, Daddy? Have I done it? I mean, like, how many people grow up thinking their parents are so overbearing and requiring so much of them and want them to be what they want them to be because they know best, because they do know the children. We do know who the children are. We know exactly who you are, but that doesn't help us that much. It doesn't help us.
Right. And especially doesn't help in the priority in the relationship. Like, I always am understanding that it means very little to be right. And what I mean by that is, karmically, for you, with you, it means everything to be right, be the best or the right, for you, with you. But in relationships, you thinking that you know the answers does not give you the moral upper ground.
And the answers change depending on what dimension you live in. You live in the third dimension, your answer is like, my answer is, I'm gonna go get high. I don't live in the third dimension. That's not my answer. That's not the right move for me. What I think would be better is be the truth of whoever you are, wherever you are.
Right.
So the truth is different than the right.
Yep.
You be the truth of who you are. If the truth of who you are is that you love this child and you know the child loves you and you know what's going on, I would be sending love through that phone. Don't forget you're talking to someone you love. When you look into her eyes, you know who she is. Remember who she is. Remember you're speaking to someone you love. You don't have to hang up the phone. You can't. I mean, it depends on how egregious the offense is, but you don't have to do that. We forget when we get mad and we want people to do what we want them to do. We forget we're talking to people we love.
So how does that work, real quick? When you say we want people to do what we want them to do, but we want them to do that because we think we love them, right? Or we love them. So those are the people who are closest to us. So those are the people we want to conduct themselves in a certain way, be a certain way, all those type of things. So how does that? How is it that the people closest to you have to like pry yourself off of trying to like get them to be in line with you and being harmonized with you?
So we're not talking about children now.
Well, I mean, it could be. To me, it's all relationships.
Well, everything doesn't apply in every situation because of the level of development of the person's being able to
the
integrate
other side of it.
Integrate it. So in most of the relationships where you mention what I say is in romantic relationships, which is like the woman will say to me, well, why won't he just do what he's supposed to do and be right? Why won't he just do what he's supposed to do, what he should do? And there's a lot of shoulds. He should have done this. He shouldn't have been late. He should have bought something for my birthday. He should have called my mother. He should have given me a ring. He should have had a wedding for me. There's a lot of that. And my position on that is, as the divine feminine, is honor, respect, and gratitude. Are you in honor of whatever was done? Are you on a phone that is connected to a plan that maybe he's on?
Yeah.
Making this complaint?
Right. Who's paying for this consult right now? That way, just as I got you. Yeah.
Like, are you in respect of whatever reason you're still there? Whatever that is, whatever reason you are still in the relationship. If you've been in the relationship more than 10 days, you're still there.
Okay, you get 1 week and you get a 3 extra just to evaluate. So you get 1 week of getting slapped every day, but then those you get another 3 to see if that
I'm
person
saying
will
it's not a
change. But
one night.
after that,
I'm saying it's not a one night stand.
yeah,
Then you're not like checking to make sure.
yeah.
So I saw you again.
It's not still the courtship period. Right?
It's like if you're in the relationship, excuse me, if you're
time.
in the relationship, then you chose the relationship.
Yeah.
So now there's this level of what is needed in the relationship. Acceptance is part of what's needed. If you can't accept who the person is, you shouldn't be in the relationship.
I poured some water for you over there. We touched on the idea about acceptance in last week's conversation, and it's funny how we circling back to this the dynamic of the romantic relationships. Let me read Shaka, my girl Shaka, who's helping me out last week. No one has control over another person, including and especially children. Control issues destroy relationships. That is what is being stated. So when we say, because I just love, I don't know how we can disseminate that point in a real concise, palatable way, but that idea of investing energy in getting someone else to do something
It's such a
being
waste
such a waste of time. Like how we need to think, we need to
Yeah.
think of a concise quote or maybe even have you do a 10-minute just strong sermon about that, because that plays its part. And I realize that it plays a role. What I was trying to reference earlier is like it's a trick that we play on ourselves where we feel virtuous and right
Yes.
because we think we are right,
Yes.
when trying to be and impose your rightness on another makes you wrong.
Absolutely. You are not the truth for them if
Right,
they are not
exactly.
the right person for that truth. So if you find someone who has the same convictions, the same biases, the same prejudices, the same morals as you, then you all are in harmony, then that's good. You found your person. But if you meet someone who has a different view or a different attitude, if you are in acceptance of whatever it is, if you're like, I can accept this behavior, then you are in acceptance of it. You live with them 20 years and you're mad because they've been doing this for 20 years.
Right, yeah. Please don't make me revisit that brushing your teeth situation that we talked about, because y'all remember that? That was insane. I was not having any compassion the way my mom was for that lady in her situation. They have grown children and all that, and he hasn't done it, whatever. So tell me this. This really happened, and it's going to sound crazy, but I know this happens to other people. I'm not the only one, so y'all don't act like I'm crazy. Recently, I did something that in my mind was a minor thing. It was kind of a negligent or accidental thing, really, but it was in my mind minor. The person I did it around got upset at me for doing it and made it very clear in less than a minor way. I then got upset that they turned something that in my mind was minor into something major, and then had the nerve to make a big deal about it, as if there's not a bunch of major things that I do good. So then they got upset that I got upset. So then we now are both just upset. All from it's like an escalation of I am the right one to be offended. I'm the one who deserves to be offended because of this. No, I'm the one who deserves to be offended because of that. And it's like who can out whatever. I don't know what the way is, but that happened, and I'm thinking to myself, what's the end to this? What is the what's the cutoff where it's like I can acknowledge and understand your upsetness, however, I cannot take it on to beyond a certain level, or I can acknowledge and say, and I can just move with what my solution will be in the future, even if I'm not going to match your level of upsetness, or my sorry doesn't match your upsetness. Does that make sense?
I understand what you're saying
Like,
because we've all gone through these kinds of situations, but we have to go to where was the first uh, injustice?
right.
Where was the first injustice? Someone says something to you, you don't give it enough attention, and then everything starts crawling downhill.
Exactly.
So what does that teach you?
Right. What level of intention that needs to be higher if you want the person to be, happy.
Well, it's there's more than one person in a relationship, and everyone's happiness is priority. However, if you understand the level of the level that the person needs, and I'll give you an example like this. I often meet people and talk to people who want to be married or want to have a lover,
Mm-hmm.
who don't, and who haven't, for years. And they say to me, I really want a partner. I said, no, you don't. Because
Evidence is that you don't have a partner and you don't keep a partner even when you do have one.
but you could have had one.
Yeah.
And you've
Yeah.
had many experiences where you slam the door and out you go.
Yep.
And so what that person really is asking for is the attention of another person. That's available to them. It's available to them in a variety
In
of different
spades,
ways.
yeah, and plenty of ways, yeah.
And well, there's like metaphysical, there's, that part, but there's also the part that if you don't work a job, if you're working at home from a computer, you may feel it even more intensely, the lack of the socialization. So go join a acting group, or go and take a class, or go and do, because what we need is we need the interaction from the other. So I often share with people who are not working, go to work. You need to go to work so that people can see how fabulous you are.
Yeah.
And then when you get up and when you accomplish a victory, somebody will be, you'll get a paycheck hike, or your name will be on Employee of the Month, or somebody will say, yeah, good going, or I hope you'll teach me that, or I want to work with you. And that satisfies what really is being asked for. Not everybody wants the intimacy of what's involved with being with someone relentlessly.
Right, exactly.
Because
And your own experience is not your. I'm saying that person's own experience is the evidence to show them that, do you really want this? Because look at every time you've been in proximity of that level of intensity. Look at every time
there's a fight, or
right,
there's an
exactly,
argument, or
yeah.
you're picking the person apart. Like they're not right, or they're not doing this. So you may have moved yourself into a space where you can get what you need from other venues.
Yep.
And for my perspective, I just want to get you what you need. So if you're having problems on dating apps, I'm not surprised that it's best to see and be in the frequency at a class, or in person, or at a job, to make the best connections. It's not the only way, but it is a way for you to tick off all of your things that you want.
Yeah.
And also for you to get direct eye contact, for you to know that this is not just something fleeting, unless that's what you want, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
I'm really not setting up moral standards. I'm really looking at humanity needs some socialization. And often people carry this idea, and many people who were married for a long time, once they aren't married, they sometimes think, oh, I want to be married again. Then I say to them, just like I would say to Elysian, do you remember what it was like?
Yeah, but you're doing it on the reverse. You're saying, yeah.
Do you remember?
Yeah.
Do you remember what that was like?
That's so funny.
Do you remember how that worked out for you? Do you remember why you didn't want to do that? Do you remember what that was like every day to have someone else? So I'm on either side of what anyone wants, but there's something to be said about both sides.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna just start calling her my girl Shaka. We're gonna have to. I want you to send an email or DM in on social media, and we're gonna see if maybe we can get you engaged in one of these conversations. You got a lot to offer. Maybe we can have we during the week, just so everybody knows. We're starting to do these pop-up meditations. We're gonna do. I have quite a few in store already lined up. Middle of the day, we did a abundance and prosperity meditation yesterday at noon. We have a Ho'oponopono meditation coming up soon. We're going to do a divine masculine meditation. We have a few others in the queue as well. So you all, I would recommend everybody be on the lookout for announcements on our social media and here on YouTube for pop-up live meditations that we can do in group. Um, we also are going to have extended, very casual conversation with different ones of this social family that we're building here on YouTube and other social media platforms, where we're going to have little conversations where we get to kind of converse with other like-minded or like pursuing people. So as I referenced you, Shaka, and anybody else that's in the chat and listening to this video, if you're interested in ever popping in and having a conversation and exploring certain ideas, or maybe even exploring some real life things that's going on with you, don't have to be names or anything like that. However, just kind of sharing a story or sharing something like that, I think it would be good, and I think it would be very beneficial for everyone else to learn from and experience. And I really want us to organically build a familiarity with each other. We starting that being transparent between my mom and I, where you all can become familiar with us, the way we think, the lessons we got to learn, the pops I got to get, like whatever is going on, it's being done and relayed in front of you all. So I'm hoping that others can share in this experience as well. And I think that it will assist a lot with us having a greater impact and reach to the general public as well. So I'm hoping that we can take advantage of that. Like I shared, feel free to DM at the High Frequency Living page on Instagram, or We Are of the Sun on Instagram, or you can email us at contact@ofthesun.com and just reach out, and I will be in touch to make sure connections are made and we set some things up. And like I said, keep everybody on the lookout for the announcements. I want us to be able to talk about the divine masculine and kind of explore the look of it. But now I'm thinking that one of our next videos that we do in the next couple of days, I want to pair it. So I want to do the divine masculine meditation, and then I want to have a discussion right after it about what the divine masculine looks like and things like that. And maybe I can get other contributors, whether it's you, which I would love, or whoever anyone else who's going to be a contributor to that conversation. I'm thinking that's how we'll go about it, because I would like to pair the two, and we're wrapping up our time now. We're far extended.
It is so important. The masculine in detriment is so relevant in our world. It's what's going on all over the world with war. It's what's going on in every home. It's what went on with our grandparents. It's what has gone on in most of our lives. But it is not the only part of the polarity. There are two polarities of divine creation. It's the divine feminine and the divine masculine, and both need serious attention.
Yeah.
The divine feminine is to heal this, must have honor, respect, and gratitude to self. It's all about self first, and then it's about other things. And then the divine masculine, we've been teaching about the divine feminine for years, and we're just becoming in touch with the consciousness of the divine masculine, and we're learning more from that perspective and who and what we are. So I would encourage that they be both polarities of divine creation. They are not separate. It is like we have one brain with two halves. It is that same understanding, and we've been limping around on one leg with our half a brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, I agree.
On whichever side. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So are we going to wrap up now?
Yeah, we are going to wrap up. I do want to make a couple of statements though. So number one is for anyone who's interested in finding out about our upcoming quantum light property clearing class and what steps you need to take to qualify to be a part of it as far as prerequisite classes go. Like I've shared the email, contact@ofthesun.com, or you can DM us. I will happily have a conversation with you and get you prepared and get you informed on what the steps in the process is. I stated this earlier. I'm gonna reaffirm it again. We are doing a scholarship giveaway for one participant for August to participate in either our DNA activation class or our One Mind Connection class. This scholarship has been being supported and donated to, and each month how we're going to do it is we will pick a person who has contributed at least a minimum of $25 to be able to take advantage of the class and get the class at that for free, basically at a scholarship for their scholarship donation. So next Saturday in this live show, we will announce or pick I'll find a creative way to let my mom pick the name who's going to have the scholarship given to them. So I hope everybody that donates is in the chat. And if not, don't worry, we'll reach out to you. But I want to make sure that's known. I also want to make sure it's known that this show, High Frequency Living, and our consistent livelihoods and business of the Sun is sponsored and supported by Inlakesh Studio One. And we are eternally grateful for all the support, all the contribution, and the spreading of some of these of the Sun original techniques. Inlakesh Studio One utilizes the Call for the Truth cards, which you created yourself and disseminated, created, and sell. And then Inlakesh Studio One also specializes in quantum light property clearing, which is a proprietary technique of the Sun, created by you, or formatted by you as well. So we not only support the sponsorship for the show, but Inlakesh Studio One is actually pushing forward a lot of the work that we do through its daily work as well. So we're grateful for that as well. And I'm very grateful for everybody participating in the chat.
I have one last thing to say. We just released, just yesterday, we filmed heirloom tomato Virgin Mary drink that we made. It's in High Frequency Living, if you can tell them how to see it.
Yes, it's on Instagram, on High Frequency Living channel on Instagram.
So delicious, so refreshing, so wonderful. It was my last day of my liquid fast, and then I was able to have a wonderful Virgin Mary, which we're going to have to think of another name for it, I think. But it was really wonderful. And we have the recipe up, and also previous to that, I put up my avocado pudding recipe as well.
Show that.
So
doesn't
we'll
show.
be
I was
putting up
trying.
more
Don't
things
worry.
that
We'll put it in the chat.
more things that are happening in our day-to-day experience with food, and I hope you will enjoy it. And we've got other things coming up. Ahad makes an amazing ginger beer from my old recipe from when he was a baby. So we may be coming up with that soon too.
Is that right? Interesting. Okay, cool. I can do that. All right. Well, I appreciate everybody's time. Look forward to all of our pop-ups. Make sure your subscription notifications are on, so when we go live, you get notified, and then you pop in for that. And like I said, always reach out if there's any questions, thoughts, or comments. We successfully integrated microphone, camera, and computer all into one with two people right here for the first time ever since I've been doing this. So I'm proud of myself, and we will keep it going like this.
It's a victory.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful evening. Inlakesh and Veritas to all.
With honor, respect, and gratitude to you.
All right.